Hi, I'm Talia.
Hi, I'm Matthew,
And
we are
the
the Critics. So this week we're reviewing Superman. Sorry.
Start again.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were making a joke.
No. It's just like a superheroes. Super.
Superpower. A better one. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Talia.
Hi, I'm Matthew,
And
we are the Critics. So this week we're reviewing the latest X-Men movie, X-Men Apocalypse. And to get right into it, we found one good thing about watching the movie, and that is that it employed 1,500 people.
15,000.
1,100. So, which they told us as a credit, and you kind of feel like, they're like, guys, we know it was awful, but at least we gave people jobs.
You better like this movie because it created employment.
Yeah. So we did a good deed for today. It took 2.5 hours away from our lives and my soul. But so you kind of should by now pick up how we feel about this movie.
Yeah.
But let's get into it.
So one of the main problems, well, there were many, but one of the main problems was that we felt that this movie just had too many characters, but which we expect from an X-Men film. But at the same time, we weren't sure whose perspective we were watching the film through.
Yeah.
In the previous X-Men films, and I'm speaking about like when we were kids, the first trilogy that came on, it was always clear the story is being told from Jean's perspective, the story is being told from Wolverine's perspective. Like we always had a clear idea of who we were watching it through. But here, it was just like, it could have been Mystique, could have been Jean, could have been Scott.
But the thing is, it couldn't
Magneto.
even have been any of them. It was just very clearly nobody.
Yeah, it was a weak thread throughout the whole
Yeah.
thing. That's what we found.
And that's hugely problematic. Like, it's not just a thing about, there's too many stories or characters, but it's that what that means is that there ends up being no story and no characters.
It just falls flat.
Yeah, which this definitely did. And none that you can get behind or follow.
Or that you invest in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when things happen to those characters, you're just like, oh, okay, thanks.
Well, to go with that, there was hardly any action in this film. Although there was a lot of like destruction and things getting turned into dust, etc. It just wasn't epic enough. Like, I mean, in an X-Men film, I expect there to be the showdown between, Psylocke and Beast. There was that, but it just fell flat once again. There was no cool choreography or close-up combat, etc. There wasn't anything like that. And the villain as well, he could have had such an epic fight scene with someone like Magneto, but they didn't do that. Instead, he was just someone who like spoke a lot. Maybe that was his superpower, to like bore us to death by speaking slowly. And he turned people into dust and turned things into dust and made things out of the dust. It was just, I expected it to be a lot...
Made 1,500 jobs out of the dust.
I expected it to be a lot more scary.
The trailer made him look a lot more scary.
Yeah, and the trailer made it look epic.
The trailer was the best part. Just watch the trailer.
The action.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. I mean, you and I disagree on if this is better or worse than Batman vs Superman. You're wrong, but
I think it was better.
But at least you could be like, oh, there were some cool fight scenes.
But
at least there was something to.
Let's agree on the fact that Civil War was much better.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's definitely agreeable. So I think there's so many big problems, but one that was really annoying is that this just felt like a rinse and repeat. It felt like, well, we've seen this happen again. We've seen Magneto go through like something bad happens to me. I then act like an evil person, but I'm actually good, and so I undo the bad that I've done. And Charles being like, people have faith in everybody, but then no one repays the faith, but then he gets the faith back in the end. And Mystique is, I'm good, but then I'm bad, but then I'm still actually good, and I will help. And we've seen it all before, we're seeing it again. It's the same character device, the same plot devices, all executed worse. Especially because we're not invested in it anymore. We know how it ends.
Yeah.
So that was really annoying. And what was also really annoying is that despite X-Men having so many origin movies and spent so much time in the origins of these characters.
They still gave us everyone's origin. We were told where Scott was from, Nightcrawler,
even
the
Magneto,
Angel guy, Magneto
as
again.
if he needed more.
I mean, it was just really, and all told with the backdrop of a weak villain. Even
and,
he
and,
didn't
and,
save
a, and,
it.
a, and a weak conflict.
Yeah.
Because you didn't even know where the conflict.
Yeah, the story wasn't holding anything up.
Yeah,
But
and
they
annoying
were
because like
always-
I liked Magneto's
Yeah.
origin story that we've got in the last few movies,
Yeah.
and it kind of made it like null. Like you need something else to be angry about in this movie. Like going through a concentration camp isn't sufficient for you to be hating all of the world.
Didn't come through strong on that.
No.
Tying in with that, as an X-Men film on its own, it had its own problems. So like Matt said, we've seen all of this already.
Yeah.
We don't need to be retold where Wolverine comes from. It's Colonel Stryker. We know he's got a troubled past, etc. I mean, Jean Grey can't control her powers. We know all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, just take us further into the universe without having to go backtrack and tell us everything. And on that point, the characters didn't go anywhere.
No.
I mean, Charles is still, rose-tinted view of the world.
Well, he's not bald.
He's not bald.
That's the most character development we had.
Magneto's the same. Charles' old friend, but I'm still going to kill people.
Yeah.
Mystique was exactly the same. Quicksilver, he's now Magneto's.
He's still cool. Oh,
Yeah.
He's now pretending to meet his son.
But,
I don't care.
Nothing took them forward. We were just retold everything.
This movie ended in the exact same position as the last movie ended. And I think a big problem of that, the reason for that is that it's set in the past in terms of both just normal timeline but also the X-Men timeline.
Yeah.
So, for example, when Magneto starts after the family beginning of the movie, you're like, well, they're going to have to disappear.
Because we know he doesn't
Because
have
we know,
family.
and we know that he's really cool in the end, so, like, who cares? You know that the world can't be destroyed because, well, we've seen current, previous X-Men.
And you know that Storm won't be someone who helps destroy the world because she becomes a teacher at the school. It's just like...
So there isn't any ability to create any, it's not even set up as like an alternative dimension or anything. So there isn't any suspense there. That's hugely problematic. And it also means that characters can't develop beyond where they were in other X-Men movies that come in the timeline after it. But I think most annoyingly, from an X-Men perspective, and you're the bigger X-Men fan than me, is that there just wasn't a message. And X-Men has always been really good at getting us a message.
Definitely.
If it's the fact that a you versus them mentality doesn't work, or that just because you're different doesn't mean you have to be ashamed.
And if you're different, you should use your differences to come together and teach people that to accept you, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that stands out, I think it was the second film, where they all used the president to sort of send through the message of mutants are, we must treat them as part of us.
Yeah.
This didn't have any of that. I mean,
Nothing.
they united against the main villain, but at the same time, the bigger picture, there was nothing. There was no substance to it. We didn't know what we were invested in, or which side to take, or the conflict was. It didn't work at all. So overall, when I watched it from the get-go, when they were showing the origins of the apocalypse villain and all of that, I just was saying, okay, and then
let's
and
move
then
on.
let's wake him up from the dead.
Yeah.
And then it was just like
Let's
just
get
knew.
together.
Yeah.
Let's have the conflict. Let's have Charles cry, and then where are we going?
Wolverine, let him appear, and then it was just.
You were waiting for the thing that was new.
Yes.
And it never came.
It never came.
It never came.
So overall, we weren't impressed.
And I think overall the question that we both ask is, why was this made? What was it made, apart from making money, just putting that obvious answer aside, like, what was it meant to add to the X-Men universe? What was it meant to add to film? What was it meant to add to comic movies? And I think the answer to all of that is nothing.
I think
No one knew what it was. No one had a goal of what this was meant to be adding to anything. X-Men, comics, movies, human life, human discussion, and that's probably the saddest thing about this movie.
Yeah, because the X-Men universe they've created with the first 3 films and the last 2 weren't bad, but now it's just, I feel like if they make any more, which they are going to, another Wolverine movie with a new Wolverine apparently, it's going to be just disappointing. But I don't know, should we give it a rating, Matt?
Let's do it.
It's getting half from it.
It's getting 0. I genuinely just feel nothing.
I'm an X-Men fan.
Nothing.
Give it a half.
0.
Okay, besides all the hating, thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed our video, please like it or subscribe to our channel. Our links to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and our Tumblr are in the description box below. You can check out our write-ups and our top 10s and our general feelings about film on there. And we'll keep you up to date about what we're up to next. I'm Talia.
I'm Matthew.
And this has been the Critics Review of X-Men Apocalypse.